It is the RIOT podcast. I am Hudson. Nikki has joined us as well.
Did I just walk in the room?
Yeah.
That's what it sounded like.
Well,
like,
this is the beginning of the podcast, so as far as anyone knows.
I'm coming in. I'm
Why are your footsteps so loud?
Well, you know, I walk with a heavy foot.
It sounds like you're coming up the stairs.
Wait. Just I'm clopping in.
A little bit. What are you, a horse?
Hello, let me in.
This is why people listen to the podcast.
What are you
to
talking
get this
about?
bonus content that you would not get if you listened on the radio.
Well, you're right. I did just come in, even though it was before the show,
yes,
and I've been in the room
several hours ago.
Well, welcome to the podcast for today.
Yes, it's a fun one.
Yeah, it is.
You're going to hear right at the beginning that we're testing. I don't know how much it makes it into the rest of the show, but the first break is how we're testing out new
bed music.
Yeah, we call it bed music, where we're talking the stuff we talk over, and that's something you might not hardly ever hear in the podcast is the music that goes between or out of what we talk into and out of whatever.
Normally, any extra music is a no-no when it comes to the podcast world. So you normally don't get to hear anything.
Right. Let's see. What do we have coming up today? We have... Man, there was a lot of bathroom talk in the show today. Wasn't there?
That's on you.
It was you found the slip and slide story for the show.
That's right. Okay. Well, we talk about this new slip and slide show for NBC, which is supposed to premiere after the Olympics, like the closing ceremony.
Yes.
So it's not till August, but they're starting to film it, and something happens where there's a violent outbreak.
Yes. And you never want a violent outbreak. And we don't mean like people hurting each other, like a violent...
You don't know.
Yeah. It's possible it led to that as well.
So we uncover what was going on with the show, and it's gross.
They've halted production, but now just thinking of it, why didn't they just make that into an episode, like this experience that they're going through?
No, they weren't allowed to film. Like, I think because it was an outbreak, they had to stop, and they had to get everybody medical help.
What better TV would there be than that? The people going through what they're going through.
But then they're like, you're putting your workers into, Well,
they're already sick anyways, so.
Okay, well, Hudson's not going to be a good boss, so that's fine. He's like, get on out there, guys.
But I would get the best documentary reality footage.
That's true.
I totally would.
Well, find out what happens when you just hang on.
Yes, we also have some food hacks for you. A lot of food talk, which is normal. Mm-hmm. And then, man, what else did we get to? We talked about a few studies that were all kind of rolled into one story about how coffee is good for you.
Yeah,
so you can feel good about that. And it's near the beginning of the podcast, how much you would have to pay for a 3D printed house.
Oh, that one's cool too.
Yeah, I like that story.
It's worth looking up so you can see what it looks like.
Yes, it definitely is.
So you can be realistic about what the 3D house looks like.
Right. And you
before you go planning on having one made.
Right. It might not be as cool as you thought.
Maybe
initially.
not. But thanks for listening to the podcast, guys. Enjoy the whole thing. Don't you leave.
No. Stick all the way to the end.
Change everything else around your schedule today to get through the whole thing.
It improves the metrics somehow, I'm sure. And then what we always in podcasts, they say... Subscribe, review, unsubscribe, then resubscribe. It helps us boost up the rankings.
Oh, I didn't know
I don't even know what rankings we're working towards.
Well, if not, just enjoy and listen. You don't have to resubscribe if you don't want to, but stay subscribed.
Yes, at least do that.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Thanks, bye.
Bye.
Don't say we didn't warn you. This is the worst of the RIOT.
You hear that?
Oh, it's a new bed.
Yeah, we're trying out new music today. Don't get too attached. Some of it might not survive.
So if you hear any this morning, you're like, no. Just let us know. Or yes. Yes is nice too. But
what do you think about this one? You like it?
I think I do.
I put in a few. Because I put these in. Nikki approved them.
Oh, no, it's a team effort.
Yeah.
Team effort.
Well, I feel like I did. Can I say I feel like I did more of the work?
Oh, I see. Well, I see how
went through about like... albums and albums and albums.
Well, I see.
It took me so long to find the 8 that we put in today.
Actually, I know that is difficult, and I appreciate all that you found.
It's there is some satisfaction to it. It's kind of fun, but at the same time, it just takes there's just so much music to go through. And then
you're just like, please let these work.
I just want a few to be okay.
So please don't hate these guys.
Yeah. Well, I put in a few
well,
that
now we feel like we can't be honest.
Yeah. they have to all work.
They have to all like them.
I tried to put in a few that were a little more like, yeah, we're waking up. Like a little smoother.
Sure.
Yeah.
A little chill.
Give it a little different vibe in the morning. We'll see if that works out.
When we're done with the week, we're like, out of all 8 of them, none of them survived.
We cannot do. It will ruin the show if we keep using these.
Well, in case you're like, oh, we've heard this one for a long time. It's so hard to replace it.
Yeah.
So.
I think there's a few old stragglers that, they're not that old. They recently got updated like 6 months ago.
Those are the ones where it's like a comfortable pair of pants.
Right.
They might be old, but they still work.
Yep. And you still want to have a quota because even if we found a few good ones, we can't have too small of a rotation.
Sure.
So sometimes we have to save some of the older ones just because you keep playing the hits, bad hits.
Every time from now on, I'll remember that's a time not to bother you when you're looking into just finding new ones.
Yeah. Well, what have we got? Another 6 months until I have to do it again, hopefully.
I just start to notice.
These ones really don't work out.
I know you have to do it again. I start to notice a twitch in Hudson's eye.
It was bad enough the first time around, but now it's worse. Don't believe us? Just keep listening. You'll find out soon enough. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
I think it was Peter that sent this in to us.
You guys are always so sweet. You find a story and you're like, the Riot needs to share their opinion about this.
Yep.
And so Peter sent it to us, and it's interesting about a 3D printed concrete home community they're starting.
Yep.
And so he sent that to us. So you guys can always join us at RadioU Riot and send us anything you want us to talk about.
Yeah. Now, when we first saw this, I was thinking it was in California because that's in the U.S. we had talked about a while ago. Where
a 3D printed home community?
Yes, they were starting up the first area where you could have 3D printed homes. But this is actually in the Netherlands, which explains why maybe the prices on the houses are so good. It's only $1,400 a month.
And that's
not bad.
That actually feels pretty good for So are you renting it or do you buy it and that's your mortgage payment or what?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know
or is that
if
how
that's
things happen in Eindhoven in the Netherlands? You're not sure?
You know what? Maybe we'll just come across it as we continue to scroll through the article, but I haven't found it yet.
I'm disappointed about your lack of knowledge.
I will say $1,400 a month. It's not a terrible price, but the house is not especially big either. So
that's true.
For the square footage, maybe it's not so good. What do you think of the house itself? Because I was thinking it looks like a rest stop on the highway.
Oh, good call. It's all concrete, and it's got one slider sort of glass window that opens, and then a door. It just looks very small.
Small roadside. It looks like you walk through that door there, and on one side would be the bathrooms, another side would be a couple vending machines.
Yes, exactly.
And some pamphlets on
the area.
Yep, on the mini golf courses you could stop by.
And a water fountain that's been closed for a while.
Yep, that's exactly what it is.
So they said that there's 5 3D printed homes. It's called Project Milestone, and they're being printed. They're being printed and made at one after another, so that they say that it'll get more complex as you get to the 5th home. And the first one, they'll learn from each one, and it'll get better and better and better.
So in other words, the final couple to move in, or whoever moves into the last house, they can look down on all the other houses and be like, look at that big mistake your house has. Nice.
Well, your first house is not the best out of the 5.
Yeah. Well, imagine being that first pair or whoever's, it says it's a couple, moved into the first house, and they have to live with that.
So the 3D printed home, it looks nice, but every photo is chopped. So they're not showing you the whole kitchen. They just show you the left side, which might end up being the whole part of the kitchen.
Yeah.
Or for the bedroom, they don't show you the whole thing. They're like, here's this sliver right here.
Yeah, really.
So size might be
not seem very spacious. You're definitely looking like you're buying all of the space-saving furniture at IKEA to squeeze it all in to try to make the most of the area. But I don't know. For the price,
it looks okay.
Yeah, it looks. You know what? You get a lot of nice natural light in there. I'm a fan of that, so it's not the worst.
They say the 3D printing for concrete is a sustainable house building operation that could help with housing shortages like we have here, where houses are just going for so much more.
Right.
There's just not enough stuff for sale.
I finally scrolled down. It's like you can take a picture of the entire interior of the house in one shot.
I know, that's why they're slicing everything off. So you're like, oh, you don't realize how small it is.
Yeah, so you know, you're getting what you pay for, maybe a little bit with that $1,400 a month, but it's a nice little project. It's interesting, and of course, if they're starting small with these 3D printed. Maybe they can eventually move on to bigger and better homes. And
they don't want to hear you because they're like, that is big and better. What
we learned from our mistakes. We already made the fifth house.
It's the worst of the riot on RadioU.
This is a nice change, isn't it, Nikki? I don't mean the new music.
Oh, it's like what, the Met again?
In a world where everything else is running out, we're short supply, we're having supply shortages, and the prices are going up. We finally have something where we have too much of it, and maybe that will make the price go down.
Oh, I don't know if
maybe they'll just start giving it away.
Well, that would be nice, but I don't know if they would. So it's Girl Scout cookies?
Yeah, the Girl Scout cookies over-ordered thanks to the pandemic. Yeah, they thought they would sell a whole lot more.
Aww.
And it's really as simple as that. They already had reduced their order compared to previous years because of the pandemic. But even with all of the different restrictions going on in different places, things are constantly changing. At least that's what they're saying. And so it's made it a lot harder for them to sell.
Yeah.
And that means they've got 15 million boxes that are still unsold.
So I know they had said, like, I think it was a few weeks ago, they talked about in Atlanta, they have like a warehouse just full of cookies.
Uh-huh.
Do they, like, what are we doing here? They keep telling us they have extra cookies, but where do I buy these?
Yeah, I don't see the Girl Scouts out selling them still.
Well, are they allowed to, or
I
do
don't
the
know
cookies have a short, like, life of them?
No, I really don't think that.
They can last for a while.
I think they're going to be okay for a little bit.
They say the Girl Scouts normally sell around 200 million boxes of cookies each year, and that's around $800 million worth. They have 15 million boxes of unsold cookies. That is because even though their online sales were great for them, it's just not enough to compare with when they get you, when they're outside some sort of store.
Yeah.
It just can't beat in-person cookie sales.
When they corner you in the parking lot.
When you're weak.
Yep.
And you're like, I can't,
you just came out of the store. You obviously can afford the cookies because you just have all this cart full of stuff. When you obviously aren't trying to eat healthier because your cart is full of other things,
there.
You have no excuse.
Or when they go door to door, that's also just where they could not do that. But now I think things are opened up more. They should be able to sell things or get to Florida. Come on. Sell all these 15 million boxes there.
I wonder if they have, and maybe this is a good time to lift them, but maybe they have rules where they can't go out and actually do the outside sales for certain times of the year. I don't know. I've never been a Girl Scout.
They had someone who was a part of a different section, because it's different areas, different groups of Girl Scouts. They said they tried like innovative methods of drive-through booths, contact-free delivery.
Right. They even did the drones, remember? I think it was in Virginia where they had drone delivery.
Well, that was only that special area.
That was, but they're trying here. They're thinking outside of the box, if you will. It's still not working.
In the area sold under, so that shortfall means that they can't, they say, invest back in their infrastructure for all the little Girl Scouts with all the little cookies.
Yeah, all the camps they want to go to and stuff. It feels really like the thing of if Girl Scouts aren't in front of your face, as in the actual cookies, you're not thinking about it.
Well,
there's other junk food that's around for you.
Well, I think what also hurts them, too, is you can just go to any store and there's the Girl Scout cookie ripoffs.
Right.
And those are just as good.
They're good. Those grasshoppers and stuff, they're basically Thin Mints.
They're cheaper, and I feel like they come with less guilt. So I think
but you're not doing something good for the community.
Well,
that's overrated.
It's not always a focus of mine, and maybe I need to do better on that.
If you're looking for all the funny moments you missed during the riot, we apologize. You won't find them here. There weren't any. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
It was a couple years ago now, believe it or not. The Pokemon Go was a huge phenomenon. And by the way, Pokemon, I never feel like I'm saying it right.
Oh, you are.
Is it Pokemon?
Pokemon.
See, now we're even saying it differently.
Pokemon.
Pokey or Poke?
Pokemon.
Or Poka.
Stop! crap! How are we not getting it? Now you're making me wonder.
Because there is no right way. It has a little accent.
Pokemon.
In the song, in like the one show from when I was a kid, it was like Pokemon. So I think it's that.
They have to add some emotion to it, but I always just called it Pokemon.
So that was just like for artistic effect.
Just mush it together.
Yeah.
Just say it faster.
Pokemon.
Nope.
Well, really, the story isn't it's not about Pokemon. Really. It's not. It's actually about Transformers. But if you remember, Pokemon Go. It was huge.
It makes it worse. It was actually it became popular again though last year because when you couldn't really go do anything except wander around your neighborhood and not near people, Pokemon Go still is popular.
Yeah,
not like it was back when its heyday.
No, where everybody was out doing it. You went to a park and everyone was just staring at their phones.
You would just drive on the road and you would see pockets of people just off the road
wearing
and you're
a
like,
Pikachu hat.
That's it. You're going there playing the game.
Well, Niantic is the company. Again, I think I'm pronouncing that right.
That one I don't know.
I'm just questioning everything now. But they were the company that made Pokemon Go.
And it's also RadioU. No,
yes.
In case you don't know that one.
They are working on their new game, which is going to be basically the same as Pokemon Go, but it's for Transformers.
It looks a lot like it.
It looks almost exactly the same.
Well, don't, say, I mean, it's a little different.
Yes.
It's not like they just took the game and changed the characters out to the Transformers.
It's not like that
I'm sure they spent more time on it than that.
No, it's called Transformers Heavy Metal. And so I guess the idea is you're going to be out now encountering Transformers. They're more than meets the eye. And so you might not realize them at first when you're not playing the game, but as soon as you pop open your phone, you're going to see they're all around you.
They're everywhere. So it is the location-based augmented reality again. So it'll be just like that, but it's Transformers.
Yes, and in Transformers Heavy Metal, this is what they say. Players will join the Guardian Network, a group of humans who have banded together with the Autobots in a war against the Decepticons. As a Guardian, players will uncover hidden regions across Earth to find resources. Oh, I love finding resources. And battle Decepticons in turn-based battles, either solo or with friends.
There you go. You can have a new game.
Yeah. Do you think that's going to take off the way Pokemon Go
you can
did?
never have things strike twice.
Yeah, definitely not. Even when you completely copy the previous game.
It looks identical.
It's the same. Why wouldn't people like it? I don't think people like Transformers as much as Pokemon or in the same way.
So they're saying that should be released sometime, I think this year, but not anything right now.
Yeah, we don't have an exact date.
Find more Riot content online. riot.radiou.com.
This is good news, isn't it? This is a report from the New York Times.
And we trust them.
Yes, especially at least when it comes to coffee, for sure. Where it's not exactly one study. It's like just a smorgasbord of studies,
a bunch of them
that say how good coffee is for you. It's almost like the coffee lobby paid them to write this story.
That could be possible.
Hey, anything to make me feel better about my habits. But listen to all this good news that they've come out with. For example. Numerous studies throughout the world consuming 4 to 5 8-ounce cups of coffee. That feels like a lot,
doesn't it? I mean,
that's
wait. What are we doing? No judgment.
But
whatever to whatever.
True. But it
Drink till you're full.
I think 8 ounces is how big our new little tiny cups are. So I could see drinking 4 to 5 of those, I guess.
think those are 6 ounces.
You think?
Chris, I think I remember him telling me those are not, that's not a normal cup.
Yeah.
Those are a little bit tinier.
They feel tiny for us. So even if we did 4 or 5 of those, I think that would be okay. Anyways, the point is, that has been associated with reduced death rates. And that's in different countries throughout the world. It's true. Drinking coffee makes you less likely to kill people.
Oh, okay, that. I don't know if the study was done that way.
That way?
No, I don't know if they can tell.
People staying alive is people staying alive. That's how I see it. And they also found that in a study of more than 200,000 participants, they followed them for up to 30 years who drank 3 to 5 cups of coffee a day with or without caffeine. They were 15% less likely to die early from all causes as opposed to people who never drank coffee. So it's not even the caffeine in it.
It's not that. They say the coffee can be a cause for certain conditions. They can help with nutrient deficiencies, reflux disease, migraines, insomnia, the premature death, like you were saying, heart disease, and a lot of other grown-up sounding things that we don't all think about.
The things
but
you
they're
see,
there.
like commercials for drugs for.
Pretty much.
Yeah, they're going to take care. This was interesting, too. And they say this is perhaps the most dramatic. A 50% reduction in the risk of suicide among both men and women who were moderate coffee drinkers.
They say coffee can help with that?
Yeah, they say they think it might be because it boosts production of brain chemicals that have antidepressant effects.
Oh, I see.
So I guess that makes sense. Again, either way, at the end of the day, if coffee's helping, it seems, according to this smorgasbord of studies. So I'm on board here.
They said really the only negative can be the caffeine.
Right.
And they said that really just depends kind of like on your body. But one person called caffeine the enemy of good sleep because it interferes with you ever being able to at night get into a deep sleep.
Uh-huh.
And that's my phone. That's not coffee. That has nothing to do with it. But they say that if you are affected by coffee, you should really look at decaf and not throw a fit about it. Like if you still really want it. And if not, if it really upsets your body's like chemicals, coffee might though not be the thing for you.
Yeah, and the truth is, even with decaf coffee, there's still some caffeine in it.
Yeah.
That's the secret there. So if you're drinking the decaf and you're feeling like, what? Because people always say, what's the point of drinking coffee if it has to be decaf? Well, one, coffee tastes kind of good. Some people think so. I happen to think so. And two, there still is some caffeine in there. So maybe you just need to reduce your levels there by going with the decaf version. It doesn't mean it's going to be bad.
Some people, they say, can develop a tolerance to caffeine and its effect on your sleep. So that's why some people you're just fine. It doesn't bother you.
No, I can drink coffee like a moment before bed.
Think of it as athleisure for your ears. RadioU's Worst of the Riot podcast.
NBC's new show, Ultimate Slip and Slide. Did you see the commercials for it? I remember seeing a preview for it somewhere, and I was like, that looks dumb.
Well, we say that a lot, so that doesn't mean the show is really dumb, but is this actually running, or are they still filming it to get it ready to release?
I think, let's see. Production was halted on June 2nd. I know they already had footage from the show, and they were showing commercials, so I don't know if it had actually premiered and they were still working on filming.
It's supposed to premiere on Sunday, August 8th, following the Summer Olympics closing ceremony.
August 8th. Okay.
August 8th.
I was like, the Olympics, are they going on now? No, yeah, okay. Gotcha. So it's still a while away.
It's still a bit of ways away.
What I'm not clear on, because I haven't read so far in, is if they are going to resume production at some point, or if they're just scrapping it and flushing all the money down the toilet, which is an appropriate analogy, because we're burying the lead here. The reason they shut down production on the show is because everybody has explosive diarrhea.
And you're like, what's that? It's medical, all right? So just move past the grossness of it. But there was an outbreak of... That's the worst part. That last little flush. Giardia.
Yes, giardia.
Giardia. They were filming and the set had an outbreak of it. Don't Google giardia. It's terrible.
No, that's okay. We'll tell you.
It's terrible. It's terrible. It's terrible.
It's a parasite. You really have to wonder how this all got started with because, okay, look, this
Probably
is
something with food, like someone else had it.
Right. Someone must have eaten food that had been contaminated because giardia is a microscopic parasite found on surfaces or in soil, food, or water that has been contaminated with feces from infected people or animals.
Don't say the word.
And then it says, which when swallowed causes diarrheal disease.
Man, I feel like this is Grey's Anatomy and there was some sort of outbreak. But basically, they had over 40 crew members fall violently ill on set. So the outbreak was terrible. They said people were collapsing and being forced to run to porta potties. It doesn't sound real. But
porta potties too, like the line for the porta pots, and I mean,
maybe that's where it came from in the first place.
Yeah, that's. You know what? You might not be far off on that. It is that scene from Bridesmaids in real life.
There it is. So they said on June 2nd was when at least one crew member on this series tested positive for it. It's not even COVID.
No,
it's
worse. It sounds much worse.
So they had almost completed filming with 1 week left in the scheduled production. So they're not sure how they'll return to the original location or how that'll be. But they said with so many crew members sick, they had to close down production.
It feels like they really would have to take a real bath on the money there if they were going to just halt it right there.
Well, that's what insurance is for.
Yeah,
but they have
that's
to wait
true.
for
That's
everybody
true.
to feel better. And that's the ultimate slip and slide show. It sounds so.
You know what? I think they
dumb.
can just scrap it, don't you think?
Well, they're already promoting it. It's after the Olympics.
and
it's got the big.
It's got a big lead in. They're really banking on this.
It's got the
But,
big closing.
Why are they so excited about this show? It's just Wipeout, or, just one of those shows where people fall over and whatever, wearing the helmets and the knee pads, and we're all supposed to laugh at it.
We like that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's not the highest form of entertainment there, but somehow they just keep making these shows.
Yeah.
I know a guy who tried out for Wipeout.
Do you?
He didn't even make it.
Was it you?
No, it was not.
Okay, because whenever we say
I
that.
would never.
You would
perish the thought.
Yeah, right.
I'm too good for that.
Anyone can underpromise and overdeliver, except these two. The Riot, RadioU.
We're starting to really quickly get a long laundry list here of food fight items that we need to get to at some point, and chalk these ones up as well. It is cereal flavored nutritional drinks to start your day, because making a bowl of cereal is too much work.
Well, and if you want some nutrition.
That's right. Hey, you look at the nutrition facts on the side of Fruit Loops, and there's so much zinc in there, it'll make your head spin. It's great for you.
When we were younger, it was always as long as sugar wasn't the first one, then you could have the cereal.
And you go down the list, and it's like all these things. You have riboflavin. Yep, it's got that. You're good to go. It's good for you somehow.
So Carnation Breakfast Essentials, which is a trademarked thing for them, they are doing nutritional drinks, but they're collabing with cereals. So there's a Fruit Loops one, a Frosted Flakes, Crave, which is a cereal, and Golden Grams. And that's what they're going to be releasing as a nutritional drink.
So now you can drink this and you can feel good about it. You can feel like it says nutritional right on it. Have you ever had the Carnation instant breakfast?
I had surgery on my jaw when I was younger, and I had to go, I think it was a month and a half with nothing but Carnation instant breakfast
really?
drinks.
So you're probably tired of it then, or?
It's post-traumatic.
Oh, yeah, right.
I absolutely hate looking at the boxes.
Oh, really?
Because just how gross it was.
So does that mean you can't do it with these? Because they do have the little emblem on there for the instant breakfast.
We like the, the Premier Protein drinks. We like those, but...
You think these are keto, though? There's probably a lot of sugar.
Oh, gosh, no. I'm sure there's... To call it nutritional, I feel is a lie.
Yeah. Well, it says 240 nutrient-rich calories,
right?
10 grams of protein, which
that's not a lot.
It's okay.
It's not.
21 vitamins and minerals, all those ones we were just listing, riboflavin, and made with no artificial flavors, colors, or sweeteners, and nutritionally appropriated for ages 4 and older.
Hey, we can have it.
It says including teens and adults, so it's okay.
It's totally have this.
They're not excluding us here, but this does feel more of a childhood.
Well, it feels like they're tricking you, into having the Carnation drink by just adding the cereal thing around it. I wonder, how much it tastes like the cereal.
Yeah, I think it would taste good though, and the Golden Grams and Fruit Loops for sure would be very. Those are more unique flavors to where you would probably be able to tell. I would hope, if they got it right, you would be able to tell.
Know. It feels
Frosted
like a
Flakes,
lie.
Frosted Flakes is just sugar and milk.
Yeah,
so
that's why we
that
liked
one
it.
doesn't really. And then Crave,
it's just chocolate milk.
Yeah, but Crave, the cereal is good enough that I don't think you could match that in a drink.
Here's what you do, all right? If you're really into it and you're over 4 years old, according to them, you take this and you use it as your milk, but you still have the original cereal that it is.
There you
and you
go.
pour it over that.
The Riot Podcast. Radio U.
tourism is opening up again as the borders to countries are being reopened, at least for some, if you're vaccinated, maybe for some, if you're not, I don't know. But I know that Iceland has become a new tourist hotspot in the last few years. In fact, did you know, Nikki, that Lex from Evenings was initially intending, until the pandemic happened, to take her honeymoon in Iceland?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and that plan was ruined until to the point where she eventually wound up taking like a long weekend for a honeymoon. And they're just like, we'll go to Iceland another time, and that'll be fun.
You save it for later. I didn't know this, but their population for Iceland, at least as of 2019, is 356,991 people.
Yeah, there's not a lot of people there.
I thought that would be more.
I think, and I really feel like there's Reykjavik, and then there's just a couple small towns, but I think it's not very habitable.
Well, it's also very hard for tourism because there's so small population.
Yep.
But like in 2016, they say that they got 1.8 million visitors. So because that number keeps climbing and because the population still stays around the same, that it's just a lot for the locals to handle when so many tourists come in.
Yep. And so what we have here is a list of 10 things that tourists do in Iceland that drive the locals crazy. And number one, I'm in on this one. It's pooping everywhere because apparently that's a problem.
I think this is also a no-no whenever you go any place.
Yeah.
But they say that it's just so barren that it's just so many, like if you go on the road.
Right. If you're going out to see a volcano or something, you have quite a drive, and there's not a lot of rest stops, I would say.
And remember when you were younger and it was like, do we all go to the bathroom before we get in the car? You might not, but you should. And they say that a lot of tourists they say there's no pooping signs.
Yeah, right. And that's not even out in the wasteland. That's out in parking lots and stuff like that.
So that's an issue, and that's sad to hear.
I wonder if the signs are in English or whatever language they speak in Icelandic, I would think. Because maybe that would help if they put it in English. I'm just thinking out loud here.
I think that doesn't matter. So they say that everybody always asks about the fermented shark.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess it's a when in Rome type of thing, but why would you want to try that? The descriptions of it all sound horrid. And a lot of things fermented. It doesn't necessarily improve the taste.
Well, they had to ferment it because there was no other way to keep it to where you could eat it. It's just harsh. But
now, these days, we have things called fridges and freezers, stuff like that.
It's a part of the culture and everybody wants to try it. They say a lot of people crash their cars when trying to find the northern lights in Iceland. So they're just not paying attention, and the locals would like you to stop doing that.
Yeah, and I don't know. If you're out there driving, what is there to crash into?
People pooping.
And they say this is something.
So the signs make us feel like.
Whoever wrote this article, whether you're from Iceland, I don't know, but they say comparing it to whatever country you're coming from. Here's a news flash: everybody's going to do that when they're a tourist in a different country. You're not going to be able to stop people from doing that. Take pictures of everything. Also,
that's going to happen.
A tourist thing. Now, this is a big one because Iceland, I guess, has like the hot springs.
Yeah, and they say that you're supposed to shower before going swimming in those, or just before going swimming, period.
And they really want you to take a shower before you get in the pool, which a lot of places are kind of particular about it. Yeah, but they all want you to. But in Iceland, they want to make sure not only do you shower before you get in the pool, shower without your swimsuit on to make sure you get clean. Yes, to get the most important areas.
Then they say complaining about the weather, a few other basic ones, but then the last one for Iceland is saying for tourists as tourism returns. Yeah, for people who come to not do this, they say don't complain about how expensive everything is there.
Right. Well, again, that's something you do when you're on vacation. It's just you saved up the money, hopefully, for your vacation, and but then you hate having to spend it, and you know things are going to be expensive. Not on the list is trying to find where they filmed that new Will Ferrell movie that makes me cry.
Which one? The
Eurovision one from last year.
You watched that?
You
didn't
the
cry.
The movie wasn't that good. No, but the song that it was nominated for an Oscar for Best Song.
Made you cry?
Part of it is in Icelandic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lower your expectations enough and you'll never be disappointed. You're listening to The Riot on RadioU.
do you feel, Nikki, that the cicadas are finally starting to, very quickly, they started to disappear?
Yes. I feel like they're dying down because they're dying.
Yes, I agree.
And I guess at the beginning of the cicada things, I was like, so do they go back in the hole or what are we doing? But they just die off.
It seems like they just die and eventually fall out of the trees onto you.
If you're in an area where there's a lot of cicadas, like, do you just wait for them to decompose? I don't see like
other animals like find that a tasty snack that now they don't even have to chase them or anything. You don't think?
I think there's so many that they're probably like, I'm full.
Yeah, that's true.
But if not, we'll have to clean them up. If you're again in an area when Eric took our dogs to the bark park, I mean, it was just like everywhere.
Right, it was like
the dead bodies,
a sandbox of of the shells.
But even the dogs were like, "No, I ain't. I'm not eating that." So it depends on where you're at.
A pizza shop, it's called the Pizza Bandit in Dayton, Ohio. They are serving up cicada pizza.
Oh, they are?
So I wonder if, I don't want to cast aspersions on them, but are they like sweeping up the cicadas in their parking lot or something?
Okay.
And just putting it right into the pizza?
So the one question there's two parts to it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think you'd be allowed to serve that. Like, aren't there restaurant rules?
That's what I thought. But remember, we talked about the one in Virginia where the guy admitted he would get out and catch him in the morning and then peel all the legs and wings off and just throw it in the tacos later in the day. And I can't help but wonder how that is legal.
So then the second part of it is they definitely couldn't be dead. They'd have to go catch them alive.
Right. I think. I would hope. It would be, honestly, it's easier to catch the live ones because they were just everywhere, at least for the time. I don't know. And certain places are like a little offset in time. So maybe Dayton is just hitting their height right now, but...
oh, you mean because of the cicadas? I thought you meant like, are they behind the times of food? What do you mean?
Yeah, they're a little...
You mean cicada stuff coming.
Yes, Dayton is still... they're in the dark ages when it comes to what they eat.
Like, no, we're not.
They haven't really moved into the 21st century. They're still... everything is kept in salt just to preserve it.
I think if you've not had a cicada, like you've not eaten one, why don't we just go ahead and try to keep that up?
Right.
Before they officially disappear.
If you can really make it a couple more weeks, maybe even a couple more days, they're just going to be gone. And then all of a sudden, we don't have to hear about them again. We don't have to hear them again.
Sure.
And we don't have to worry about eating them again for another 17 years.
They've been so crazy, though, in the last few days. I feel like that it is ending. But it made me think when I was looking out back of my house and they were like flying around.
Yep.
I thought, I do not ever want to be in like a real plague with these things.
That's right.
These things are crazy.
Right. But doesn't that also make you think, why would you want to eat something that is a plague, basically?
Yeah, I know. And I will not change. I'll never want to eat these things.
You ever like think back to like ancient Egypt and it's like when the frogs came, they were probably like the plague of frogs. They're like, oh, yum, yum. This is delicious.
Not if there's so many because they must just be overwhelmed
They're
with
overrun, but you got to make the most of it.
They're like, 3 weeks of frogs again, Dad.
Yeah, come on.
It's like, I hope you're not getting these.
They're just everywhere. We just catch them, peel the legs off. We're good to go.
The worst podcast with the best listeners. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
So we've all recently taken our masks off for the most part across the country, especially if you're vaccinated. Everywhere is like, you're good. But maybe we should put them back on.
Still, though, separating, keeping a distance, which I think was good even before.
Yeah, let's just keep that going no matter what diseases are floating around in the air.
What is this, though? What else do we have to worry about?
We got to put our masks back on in case the monkeypox become a thing.
Oh, that sounds bad.
Doesn't that sound so horrible?
This sounds like... worse than coronavirus.
It does sound worse. Yeah, they picked a bad name for it, but it really does come from monkeys. And they say it originates, and usually you would see it more in Central and West Africa because it starts with either a monkey bite or coming into contact with the fluids of a animal that is infected. And then it can pass from person to person through coughing and sneezing, so much like the coronavirus.
All the normal stuff. So they say 8 symptoms to watch for because virus cases have been discovered in the UK.
Right.
But there are now 3 cases of it there.
Right, 3 cases there. And the 8 symptoms, they're almost all the same as the coronavirus.
I know. I feel like anything. They say this is in the family of viruses like smallpox.
Right.
But basically, there's only so many like symptoms we can have for anything.
Yeah. And a lot of them, for every disease, it seems you have fever and,
What's the rash? Oh, it's got scabs.
Yeah, that's the bad one. That's how you'll know you have monkeypox instead.
Oh, that's bad. It's these horrible looking scabs on your body.
Yeah, you get them on, it says your hands and your face, and it's this rash where it'll scab up real bad. But the good news is they say, one, this is only in the UK where they're noticing it, like outside of where it normally would be in Africa, where there actually is monkeys. But in the UK, they don't know how it got there, I don't think. But they have 3 positive cases. But they also say nobody has died from it, and it's not as severe as the coronavirus or as smallpox, so it shouldn't be, and it doesn't spread as easily.
Yeah, that's nice to say off the start of it.
Right.
Good job, Hudson. You're just telling everybody what the opposite will happen.
We should all, we don't need to relax. We need to be vigilant.
Yeah, you do.
So let's just keep staying far away from each other, away from the monkeys.
They say 13 to 21 days. 8 symptoms for monkeypox could be a temperature of 100 or above, a headache, muscle aches, backache, swollen glands, chills, exhaustion, and the skin rash that they scab up and fills with liquid. That is so gross.
They look. Have you seen the pictures?
I am. So that's it. That for monkeypox.
You go in to get your coronavirus test. You're like, man, I really thought I beat it. I thought I went through this whole time, and you test negative, but then it turns out you have monkeypox. Oh no! And the rash comes your way. Oh
no one do that and then have to call in to tell us. Okay, I don't want to have to hear about that. It's bad. But they're also saying there's currently, they're dealing with monkeypox outbreak and a drug-resistant tuberculosis that is standard as well.
That's probably worse. It just doesn't have a worse name.
I don't want to hear any more about what we could also have.
Let's just...
I'm good with allergies, and let's leave it at that.
Right. That's enough. That's enough.
With.
We can deal with that. It's not easy, but we can deal with it.
We can manage it.
The Riot with Hudson and Nikki.
Oh my God, no way.
On RadioU.
No way, no way.
Let's take a trip.
Do you stand?
We need to salute.
What do you do? Because you're, Hudson's Canadian.
I think the same thing. You put your hand over your heart and sing the song, and you sing the first verse in English, second verse in French sometimes. I don't know the French version. I don't know how to do it, but...
Well, then no Canadian Day for you.
You just kind of,
mumble along?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
In Canada, we're going to have football again.
Hey!
For the first time since 2019, I think. Because the Canadian football season usually runs across the summer and ends in November.
So would that be because of the pandemic, but it feels longer because of when it runs?
Because it ended in November, so then right when the season would have been starting is when the virus kicked in. So then they had to scrap all of last season and a lot of this season as well. And they finally announced August 5th, Canadian football will be back. A 14-game season.
Hey! 14 games! Woo! How exciting.
Yeah.
Now,
and they got
my ignorance with it, but is Canadian football basically the same as like the NFL?
It's very similar. There's a few different rule changes. The field is a little bigger. They have 12. You would have 12 guys on the field per team instead of 11. The wide receivers can run up to the line in Canadian football, which you can't do in American football. But it's not often, but you have players that will play. It's probably more often you would see players play college in the United States. They don't make it to the NFL, and then they wind up playing in Canada.
So do you try to watch so much, or because your family try to at least be aware of Canadian football?
I keep track of it. I don't watch as many games, but I think they are on ESPN and definitely ESPN Plus. And once it gets to the playoffs, it's usually interesting to see. The funny thing about Canadian football is there's only like 8 teams.
Oh, that's it?
So almost everybody makes the playoffs anyways. And it's like, why even have a season?
Isn't that why they're mad at college football with changing the playoffs
too many
for like
teams.
here? Too many teams?
More teams in the if they expand to the 12 teams in college for the playoffs, they'll have more teams in the playoff than Canada will have in the whole league.
The professional league in Canada.
But it is a lot of fun to watch. And I mean, come on, is it really... Some people will get excited that the XFL is coming back because they're talking about that, or now just all these offshoot football leagues that are trying to get started in the U.S.
Sure.
And you're looking for this partner to have when it's not NFL and college season, but the partner was there for you all along. It's Canadian football. It's been going for hundreds of years.
The thing that is interesting in Canada is if it's like arts and sports and stuff, the Canadian government will pay for a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So they say the CFL, the Canadian Football League, could not have an abbreviated schedule because they did not secure a $30 million interest-free loan from the Canadian government.
Ooh.
So the sources saying the Canadian press, they told them that the league lost between $60 and $80 million last year because of not playing any games.
Yeah, but the truth is, even if they had played games, they couldn't have fans, and that would have hurt them a lot more than maybe in the United States, where they can use the TV deals and make so much money off of that.
You might be thinking that this won't be quite as bad the second time around. Well, you'd be greatly mistaken. You're listening to the worst of the Riot podcast.
So we just talked about one kind of football. Now let's talk about another, and neither are American. This one is European football, where right now the Euro 2020 tournament is going on. Which is a big deal, of course, in Europe and kind of across the world. And I happen to know today, I've been paying attention enough to know that France plays Germany, which feels like a big game.
Sure.
But what also happened is Cristiano Ronaldo, he is one of the best soccer players in the world, if not the best. He's from Portugal, so he's been playing. Portugal is in Europe, of course. So they've been playing in the Euro 2020.
Thank you.
Well, I don't know. Some people, I've learned over the years of watching the reporters on the street and stuff. Nobody knows geography. That's one of the worst subjects for all of us.
Well, Cristiano Ronaldo is considered, still, and especially was one of the top players.
It feels like he's been the top player for like 30 years.
Yeah, for a long time.
Yeah.
And this isn't about him and soccer, though. This is about him and soda.
Yes. So
which for us, soda, at least for me, man, that's a comforting thing right there.
Yep. So this was kind of, it was hard to see that it was a post-game press conference. He sits down at the podium and he has a couple of Coke bottles that were set there for him.
And everybody does who sits there and does the press conference because Coca-Cola is a sponsor of the Euro 2020. So they just put them there for the shot and for the players to drink or the coaches if they want.
Yeah. But Cristiano Ronaldo, he didn't get to be the top soccer player in the world by drinking Coca-Cola, okay? He's got his health in mind.
Yeah.
And so he gets the Coke bottles out of there, gets some water, and he's like, drink water.
He makes a point to remove them to the side. Yep. They say he wasn't exactly excited about them being in the promotional shot for him. Brought out a bottle of water. He's been very much anti-soda. They say fizzy drinks.
Yeah.
But anti-fizzy drinks. So he brought the water out. Man, if I was Coca-Cola, I would have been so mad.
Yeah. I wonder, it couldn't be. It was like the Coca-Cola is sponsoring the event or whatever. They're not specifically sponsoring him. They couldn't be, right?
But this is the press conference for the event.
Right.
And so that was probably the promotional shot that they wanted, especially with a top player. And then the top player removes your item, makes a point to talk about how water's better than your item.
Well, better is a strong word.
Healthier?
Still, maybe correct, but still strong. That's a still strong statement to make. He just said drink water.
Yeah, well, he said...
He didn't say don't drink Coca-Cola.
Cristiano Ronaldo said with noticeable disdain, they say, drink water, and he was muttering Coca-Cola during the press conference.
I wonder... They say any publicity is good publicity.
Well, I don't know. We wouldn't have been talking about him anyways.
That's right.
I kept thinking, if it was Diet Coke, man, that's free Diet Coke.
Right, yeah.
I would have been drinking all of it.
It almost has the same nutritional properties as water. There's no calories.
I would have taken it.
Now, doesn't it? We should just crack open a nice Coca-Cola
Doesn't that sound good?
Stick it to Ronaldo.
Well, he seems pretty, he just want to make sure everybody knows that he doesn't like fizzy drinks.
If you want to be like Ronaldo, you got to cut the soda.
The Riot Radio U.
And we have got the deal for you if you've been holding out.
Wait, I have to ask everybody.
Yeah.
Does anybody have Paramount Plus? Does anybody?
Besides my dad.
Your dad has it?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can
remember
log
he
in.
signed up for some reason to watch The Twilight Zone.
No, because it used to be
like
CBS.
the new Twilight Zone.
It was CBS All Access.
Yep.
But does anybody else besides Hudson's dad have Paramount Plus?
It's kind of funny that he didn't even sign up for like the typical shows that a dad his age would watch, I guess. You know, like Star Trek stuff. I think he might have watched that, but he really wanted to watch the Twilight Zone. That's been out for a while, too. I don't know why now he was thinking I need to watch that.
So Paramount Plus is the streaming service for CBS, BET, Comedy Central, MTV, Nickelodeon. Oh, the Smithsonian Channel.
Ooh,
Wow.
sounds educational.
Why don't you put that first in the list? So, yeah, it was a lot of Star Trek, real world stuff, SpongeBob stuff.
They're still keeping the SpongeBob stuff going.
And that's about it. Let's see. Rich says, I've got Paramount Plus. It's great for watching Frasier.
Oh,
That would that'd be one.
You didn't watch enough Frasier the last 20 years when it's been on Netflix? Or
Isn't that supposed to come back to for something?
Oh, maybe they are bringing that back. That's true. It's possible. But Frasier has been on Netflix for the longest time.
But their Paramount Plus realizes they might need to be offering more
than just Frasier.
Well, also just more to get someone to try it.
Yeah, right.
So
Because
that's
the initial offering is not maybe as enticing and exciting as some of the other streaming services as far as the content that they have. But they're thinking maybe if they give you a whole month
to try it,
to draw you in, maybe you'll find something that might not be a top billed movie or show, but it's the kind of show that maybe you'll get into enough to stick around with the service because they are now offering a free month if you sign up with the code MOVIES.
Well, Sally says she has Paramount Plus, but she doesn't watch it.
Yeah.
Sally, that feels about right.
That's what Paramount Plus loves. They don't even have to put money into content. They're just taking your money and holding on to it.
Well, I think with streaming services, everybody got real stingy for a while of just like offering a week or like, here's 3 days for you to try it.
And once HBO started with the movies, they just are like, we aren't doing that at all anymore.
But if they give you a month, that's long enough for you to get comfortable with it.
Yep.
To not cancel it, to just keep it around for a while or forget about it.
Long enough to forget. Yeah,
exactly.
I think they're working on the Planet Fitness model that they get you in the door on the free or very heavily discounted plan, and then by the time it comes to renew or whatever, you've forgotten, and it's just recurring a charge on your credit card there.
So Paramount Plus is doing the month free trial with the code movies, and they say the subscription offer ends on July 1st.
Okay, so you've got I still don't.
You're not.
There still has to be something to watch on there that I draw me in for that 30 days.
You're not a part of this. You're just using your dad.
Yeah, you're right.
logging in.
I already had a free trial and it lasted as long as I wanted to.
Your dad is your free trial.
For a lot of things, actually.
Unless Hudson's dad is offering us all the free trial,
maybe not.
We're not. I don't know about trying it.
Yeah.
This was the worst of the riot, and we'd like to congratulate you on having the stomach to stick around to the very end. The riot exists because RadioU exists, and RadioU only exists because of your support. Find out more and give now at RadioU.com/donate.